Guys, this week I think I heard someone say what I believe to be the biggest lie that any guitar player hears, especially amateur guitar players, people that play because they love guitars. A year ago I moved to Virginia. I grew up here. I lived in Louisiana for 5 or 6 years. And when we got back, we just had this tiny little space. So basically for the last year, my guitars have stayed either in an office that I rented downtown or I had some at my dad's house. Because I lived in a small house and it just wasn't a good place for me to have a bunch of guitars with a bunch of kids and ask my family to give up space and to give up their ability to run around and play and be kids because, no, those guitars are fragile. None of that made sense. So we bought a new house. We moved in a couple weeks ago, and now we've got this great space that I can work on guitars. And I started looking at all of my guitars, and every one of them right now has dead strings, doesn't play very well, just sounds like a turd. They've just been neglected, and that's my fault. And before you freak out, before I brought my guitars into this basement, I bought a temperature and humidity gauge. I've kept it down here for the last couple weeks, and a week before I brought any guitars down here, I made sure. So I've been between 50 and 60%, and I'm totally okay with that. That's a good humidity for me. But so what I want to do is I want to tell you about this lie. And while I do it, I want to kind of show you what guitars I have right now, what's in my current guitar arsenal. I can get behind that. That's a Tony Polecaster thing. So I want to show you all of the guitars in my collection right now. These are all my electrics. We'll save the acoustics for another time. So the way I've done this is, and you guys have seen this one. This is it's a Mary Kay finish. It is not a Mary Kay guitar. So this one was made by Jimmy Foster. The body was made by Jimmy Foster in New Orleans. He's an amazing luthier. He passed away. I had my friend Evan put a finish on it, and we did some super jangly, cool Strat pickups. It's got this cool veneer board. 50 Strat case. Here is the Razzmatazz-Macaster. This is my purple sparkle. This one's coming together. I'm going to make a video in the next couple weeks of me putting this one together. Here is my Rude. So, Carina or Limba body, PAFs, cut telly style bridge, volume tone, 3-way toggle, flame maple neck, rosewood board. Here is my favorite Telecaster I've ever owned. This is 1985, made in Japan, super cool. The story I understand with this one is that this was actually made in the U.S. All the wood was milled and made in the U.S., and then it was sent to Japan to be finished, because in the transition from CBS to FMIC, they did not maintain the rights to the building to build the guitars. That's the story I've heard. Here is my original parts caster. This is a 2002 Tom DeLonge. It's a Squire. I've refinished it. Changed every part on this guitar. So now it's time to clean these up, to restring them. I might not do all of them, but I'll do 2 or 3. And then I want to tell you the single biggest lie that you're believing if you're a guitar player. So someone, I don't know who and I don't know why, they put 2-string trees in this guitar. They're just totally in the worst places. If I was driven, if I was motivated, or if I cared about it, what I would do, that's pretty tight. And that nut slot, that might need to be opened up a little bit. I would get wood filler. I'd get one of those crayon things, but it doesn't bother me that much. I like the fact that it is what it is and that there's never been another one like it. I want you to see the difference between these two. So can you see that? So this is the one that is not correct. See, it's so domed over. This is what it should be. So let's put these on. So here is the last of the guitars to be fixed. So I restrung all 4 of those. I replaced the ferrules on my Strat. But this guitar has needed some TLC for a little bit. I got this a couple months ago. I really dig it. This is a freaking cool Martin. So it's a Martin M38. It's from 1983. And you can hear the battery pack has come loose for the pickup. So this has an LR Baggs I-beam. Yesterday, a friend of mine was talking about guitars, and he was talking about a guitar that he had the money for, that he really liked. And he said, in the end, I realized I'm not a good enough guitar player to buy that guitar. That is the lie. That for whatever reason you're not worthy. If you don't already feel that in most aspects of your life, everyone feels like an imposter and everyone feels like they're not good enough. But the truth is, what you are able to do with a guitar is not limited to just what you can make come out of that guitar. Great guitars will help you discover yourself. It will help you discover the determination that it takes to stick with something, to learn how to play an instrument. That's a hard thing to do in life. So it's a great victory for you to have. So if a better guitar helps you stick with it, if it inspires you, if it makes you want to pick it up and stick with something, that's a great lesson for you and a great skill for you just as a person. Your life is really hard if you constantly compare yourself to others. There are millions of guitar players that are better than me. Occasionally I get comments on this channel picking on my guitar playing. That's fine. I don't care. I'm not a great guitar player. I really love playing guitar, and I've worked really hard at it for like 18 years now. And that's okay, because listen, I'm not a professional musician, but what I have discovered is that guitars give you hope, that they help you learn things about yourself, that you can stick with things, that you can learn hard skills, that you can master things, that you can express who you are without having to figure out all the words to do it. So if you're someone who feels the need to break people down, to make people feel like they're not good enough, I'm sorry. I don't know what happened to you. I don't know why you're so frustrated or so angry. But what I can offer you is that you get a clean slate, man. You get to just start over. You get to start offering kindness and friendship and goodness into the world. And what you'll find is that that stuff comes back to you. And of course, you're going to have people giving you a hard time. There's enough sadness in the world that we should stick to really good things that offer life and hope. Let's fix this battery pack. Oh, there we go.